Hello, and welcome to the Australian Business Podcast. My name is Zara McGuffey, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Inflection. Together with Jordan and Daniel, co-founders of Grayspace, and Owen, the founder of Rask, we bring you 2 episodes every week to scale your business. More profit, less effort. Get ready for the best marketing strategies, tax tips you can take to the bank, interviews with startups, scale-ups, ma and pa businesses, and domain experts. If you like the show, you can work with me and the Inflection team to scale your marketing and automation, join our business accelerator, take an online course in business or marketing, and simply say hello in our free online community. You'll find everything you need in the show notes. I hope you enjoy today's show.
Welcome back to the Australian Business Podcast. Today, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Dan. Dan, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Working away. What's been going on?
Just doing podcasts, you know?
Yeah, good fun.
Living the dream.
Yeah. This has been the most fun I've had all day by a mile.
It has, but I can hear my phone vibrating. It's just email after email.
Yeah, it doesn't stop, doesn't slow down. In the last episode we spoke about key systems for every growing business, and on that topic of scaling and what it looks like to scale. And I thought following that, it would be good to talk through how to scale without burnout.
Have you worked it out yet?
No. I was hoping you had all the answers.
I'd be clicking on this episode myself.
Yeah. It's a hard one to, I was going through and like putting it all together and I'm like, they're all interesting points, but I don't know. Is it just part of business? You know what? I'd love to know Owen's take on this.
We'll do a part 2 with Owen.
Yeah, I think so. I'd love to know his part because I know he works it all the time and how he avoids burnout. So,
well,
anyway.
I think burnout's different for everyone, I guess. Like there's very different views of what burnout is, and I guess what that looks like to you. Like for some people, burnout is, you know, anything over 40 hours a week, whereas for other people, it's just like a stress management and it doesn't impact the day-to-day type of thing.
Yep. What is burnout to you?
I think it's just stress management and how it impacts your life outside of work. I think that's what burnout is to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, in terms of like hourly impact, that doesn't bother me at all.
Yep.
I think it's how it affects you outside of the day-to-day, if that makes sense. You know, if you're going home and you're stressed and you can't focus on, you know, your whys, essentially, they're my whys, being my family. If I can't put my phone down and zone out with them for, you know, 2 hours before the kids go to bed and whatnot, or spend, you know, half an hour talking to my wife, that's when I start feeling like, hey, I think I'm burning out a little bit here because it's starting to impact everything else.
Yeah, 100%. It's just a mindset, unfortunately. And look, it does happen. Sometimes it is related to hours, sometimes it's not. But I agree. I think it's just about being able to deal with it, to be honest. And I guess personally, for me, burnout, I agree with Dan. It's not so much about the hours. I don't mind doing the hours at all. I think, yeah, you're right. I think it's about being able to switch off. I don't know if I can, like, just personally, again, like switching off. Like I'm always thinking about, you know, business and whatnot. But you don't want it to, like you said, just essentially regurgitating what you said, but you just don't want it to affect your personal life.
That's what it is for me, because I think the reason hours don't bother me that much is because I think I genuinely enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And I find passion in, you know, growing and scaling and thinking about ideas and looking at solutions and seeing what we can improve, how can improve. But there is I guess a level of, burnout that comes when some of that is all negative, if that makes sense.
Yes.
There are times where, you know, you're behind on workload, you've got client pressure, you've got staff pressure, you've got, you know, for example, a staff member that's left, a key person that's left that you used to be quite reliant on.
Yep.
And some of the, I guess, some of your day-to-day is filled with a few negative tasks, and it's a bit hard and you're stressed about it. You know, cash flow might be tight. You've got, you know, one of your key customers is going into a liquidation and you're not going to get paid for, you know, a 6-figure job that you completed and that you've been waiting for 3 to 6 months.
I agree.
Loans breathing down your neck, like that for me is like real stress. And I guess to avoid burnout, that's where I guess stress minimization and strategies come into place. And I think stuff like that should be avoided or can be avoided. But, you know, going at home and, you know, in your spare time while the TV's on, you're going through flow charts, creating organizational
100%.
charts, going through margins and stuff like that. For me, that's what I would do in my free time if I had the choice anyway.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I agree. What do you think are some of the early signs of burnout?
I think once you start compromising on things that you used to value, I think that's when you start I think it becomes a very slippery slope. And then as in you start taking shortcuts because it's quicker, because you've got other things on your mind. If you start, going back on your word, or you start, promising things that you can't deliver constantly, I think that is an early sign of burnout.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think look, we're lucky we're partners in our business. It'd be hard if you're an individual business owner and you don't have someone to bounce things off. You don't have someone if you have a shit day and, we always pick each other up. But if sometimes you don't have that, and if your partner, you go home and, you're interacting with your partner and, you're interacting, what's wrong? How's your day? And you're snappy and they don't understand why. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but what are you going to say? Oh, my debtor days are 40.
I had a conversation literally just before I started podcasting with a client.
Yeah.
This man had a terrible day. Came home, kids screaming, the other kids throwing toys all over the room. The missus got the shit stomping around. He's like, man, how do I get out of that?
Yeah.
How do I mentally get out of that when you've had such a bad day? You come home to worse.
It's chaos.
And then for me, my sleep gets impacted with stress. I don't sleep. I stare at the ceiling. And that's when I start going, hey, you know what, there's probably...
And send Slack messages that are 500 words long.
Yeah, I do go through random mental spirals.
Up and go, what?
At odd hours. But yeah, things like that, I think that's when you start going, hey, you know what? After a bit of time, you start identifying it with yourself, you know it, and you start going, oh, okay, that's not really a healthy habit. But beyond that, I think when it sort of goes a little bit off topic to vision, when you see something in sight and you've got that goal, that target,
yes,
you're going to go through a period of time like this because you need to push through it to get there within the time frame.
100%.
If you wanted to sit back and if you wanted things to be really, really easy, stress-free, one, I'd say don't get into business. And number two, just don't get into business because it's going to be stressful. I think it just comes back down to, well, can you identify it early and can you fix it early? And do you have stress management tools?
I agree. And then talking about it's important too. I think talking about it's important, but I think talking about it with people that are also going through it with you. And what I mean by that is other business owners, because no one else is going to be able to relate to you as well as another business owner, because they've got the same issues with customers. They've got the same issues with getting paid. It's not a breath of fresh air, but it's just easier to talk to them because you get feedback as well. Oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that? No, I haven't. I know I say it all the time on the podcast, but I'm very lucky in my friendship group where a lot of my mates run their own businesses and we go to the pub on Friday to have dinner and that's all we talk about. So I think even if you don't have mates that have business, find a community, join the Inflection community, whatever it is. It's just so important to be able to round table ideas in business.
I think that's one of the key. I think having the really, really good people around you and that community around you that you can workshop off.
Yep.
I think that's such a major tool for growing quickly.
I agree.
Because I think it's Cody Sanchez in the States. She does heaps of business content as well. I think she did an episode and a podcast episode where she interviewed 4 or 5 billionaires.
Yep.
And they all had the same theme, and it was, we just make decisions quick. So by the time someone else has had a meeting, set the meeting, gone through all the agenda, went through it, they had tried and failed 3-4 times and worked it out by the time that meeting even occurred.
Yep.
So the theme was fast pace. The reason that relates to this is when you can workshop it and talk to someone that's going through it at the same time or with you, like other business owners, you can actually make decisions so much quicker because it's sort of like, well, they've gone through it. They went through the worst thing happened to them. They went through this. It can't get any worse than what they went through and they did this to get out of it. Well, now all of a sudden I have a solution. I've got no fear in the next course of action that I've got.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think it's so important. So I've put together a couple of, well, more than a couple, there's about 4 pillars of sustainable scaling. The first one is leveraging people. Now, what does that mean and how does it work? One of the key discussion points that we want to talk about is like delegating outcomes and not tasks. So I'll just use us as an example and an accounting firm as an example. Most business owners will know the terminology, but like it's, if we have a senior accountant, it's not just, hey, I need you to do this BAS, that BAS, all these BASs. It's like, cool, I need 85% lodgement. So it's an outcome. It's not just a task. I need this tax return done. No, it's a percentage of lodgement. It's a percentage of utilization time. And you can do that for any business, whatever you're in. So you want to be able to delegate outcomes and not just tasks.
Yeah, I think you got to be really careful with this because especially traditionally in the professional services game, that, you know, it's an industry we know very, very well.
Yep.
Accountants, lawyers, you know, professional services. Traditionally, most firms are built on the back of the key person, as in they delegate their tasks. They get a PA, they get a junior accountant, they get a junior associate, they get an undergraduate come in, and they just handle tasks for them. But all the responsibility remains with the key person.
Yes.
They never get in an equivalent or better, I guess, employee to come in and handle the outcomes, which is where I guess we see it all the time. That there's almost like a clear cap with these professionals.
Yes.
They all get to a certain point, and that's when they're battling burnout.
Yep.
The whole time. And that's purely based on the fact they haven't leveraged people. All they've done is delegated tasks away to other people.
Yeah, that's right.
They still wear the risk. They still wear the responsibility. They still wear the accountability. And it's all falling onto them.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. The next point, it talks through building a leadership layer. Now, I think this is more for a business that has a decent amount of staff, because once you do get those staff, you can delegate to these staff members on what the outcomes need to be, and then it just flows down the bureaucratic chain, lack of a better term, or flows through the organizational structure or the org chart that you have. So that's super important as well. Once your business does get a bit of size, simplify and focusing. This is an interesting one that we speak about all the time, but you want to be able to identify your most profitable customers and double down on that. But I think the biggest takeaway here is to drop those unprofitable products and services.
It comes back to the concept of saying no, right?
Yeah.
One of the hardest things you can do as a business owner, if work comes in, to say no.
So true.
You know, we all start with a mindset of we need work, we need work, we need work. We're so used to saying yes to everything that you get to a point where you go, hey, I actually can't say yes to everything. This, especially for like beyond just the service-based clients, this is where your unit economics come in so well.
Yeah,
like
pricing's so important.
Your pricing, you know, what your operating percentages are based on revenue, what your labor percentages are, what you need to turn over, what your break-evens are, and being able to then split that out to a per unit, whether it's an hour of billable time, whether it's a product. This is where it's super important to understand that component, because looking at it from just a profit and loss perspective, you can't get the answer to fix this.
Yeah, correct.
It's all grouped together.
Correct. It's so important to know your unit metrics in whatever you do.
I'd say it's more important to know your unit metrics than your overall profitability on a profit and loss.
Yeah, I agree. Because then you can't fix it if it's stuffed.
Correct.
If it's showing negative at the bottom when you net profit.
And you don't really understand it. Whereas if you get the unit metrics right, it'll automatically flow into a positive effect on the profit and loss.
Yeah. And the best tool for this is Excel.
Yeah. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Yeah.
Literally go across the columns on the services, go down the columns on
like you're looking at sales numbers, you're looking at literally everything based on, you know, time frequencies, how much it cost you, what your freight was, how many
all
units,
those direct costs.
Like you break down.
I had a mind blank there.
Yeah, you break down everything. Like I think that is far more important than understanding your profit and loss.
I agree, actually. I do agree.
From a business owner perspective.
Yes, I agree. Because that would help you weed out these unprofitable products and services.
How else would you know?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Well, and that's how we can't tell for a business, right? Like we focus with our clients, we go through our clients, we look at their profit and loss, their balance sheet. We can go through, do some cash flow stuff with them. But we don't have enough information and internal data to go through unit economics and understand your product to a degree that you should know it.
Yes, agreed.
And if you're sitting here and going, hey, I don't actually know it, that would be the first thing I do is going, hey, I'm going to break this down. Because if, you know, back to the Pareto principle, if I'm spending 80% of my time on 20% of the revenue, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah. What's his first name?
The Pareto?
Yeah, Wilfredo.
Wilfredo.
Yeah, our boy.
Yeah. Didn't it take you like 50 takes saying his name once?
Yep. And you and Owen were all laughing at me. That's why I took that long. But yeah, spot on. We spoke about like systems for scaling in the previous episode. So I think it's really important. I'll quickly just rattle off what we spoke about in that previous one. I just think it's important to also listen to that too. So we spoke about financial systems, so systems for accurate bookkeeping, forecasting, all the different tools you can use like Xero and Excel. We spoke about operational systems, so your SOPs, standard operating procedures. We spoke about workflow management tools, so things like your Monday, Asana, ClickUp, whatever you use. Sales and marketing systems, so your CRMs, software like HubSpot, Pipedrive, ActiveCampaign, people and HR systems, so having onboarding processes, performance reviews and training. The software we personally use at Grayspace is Employment Hero, mind blank, and also a customer service system. So like, how to deal with tricky conversations, whatever that may be. I think that helps a lot as well. Just systemizing things, having your processes there, which means if the owner's away, if us as business owners are away, it's not bottlenecking there. It can still move and it can still move forward at a decent pace. So obviously when the business owner is there, and look, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it'll get to the point where you can fully step away, and I'm sure you can. All the big dogs talk about it. Away.
The way I see it, right, is it depends on what size you are as a business about stepping away.
Yes.
Because I think if me and you stepped away from Grayspace now, we would maintain, but we would not grow.
Yeah, you're right. We would.
I think we would maintain, but we would not grow.
Very slowly.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think the business owner is required, but it's there to require high value things. We're not here to make you redundant from your business. We're here to make sure that you're doing high value things and you're focusing on things like growth.
Yep.
Right? So if your growth ratios aren't there, that should be the responsibility of the owner.
Yeah, I agree.
But if your profitability and efficiency ratios are not there, that's your employees.
Yep. Yeah, I
coming through. So I think that's where like the stepping away comes in. It's like, well, are you going to step away at $1 million? No. Like there's probably not enough margin in it.
Yep.
Realistically, between paying all the employees, getting everything sorted, going through the process. But at $10 million, yeah, you can actually step away and focus on growth because you can actually set up a really sustainable business.
Yeah, I agree. The fourth talking point is about protecting the owner, and it's more so about time blocking and just protecting time. There's a entrepreneur, business owner, YouTuber who I follow, Dan Martell is his name, and he talks about like time and how important time is as a business owner and not wasting time on $10 tasks. And he's got a book, it's called Buy Back Your Time. So I'm about halfway through that at the moment. It's pretty good, pretty interesting. But again, we've spoken about having golden hours and what that looks like. I think it's so important. Just the main thing that I've gotten from reading this book is like, do not focus on those $10 tasks if you're a business owner. And what do I mean by that? Getting the mail, scanning the mail, all of in its most basic form. First thing that came to my head, but I just think it's so important. It's so important.
Yeah, I agree. I think there comes a point in time where the business needs to focus on high value, low value tasks and start separating those.
Yep.
And low value needs to get outsourced, whether it's an employee, whether it's an outsource agency, whether it's a VA, but you can't keep doing it.
Yeah. Look, at the start, you're wearing all the hats and there's no questions about it.
And that's why I'm saying it depends on volume.
Yeah, correct.
There is a point in time in your business. I don't want you to be 3 months into your business doing $100,000 in turnover thinking that this applies to you. It doesn't. Like, I'm sorry. You need to do everything. Go get it. It is what it is. We all did it.
Yep.
I used to go every week, every couple of days. I made sure the PO box was near my house so that I could it was convenient for me so that $10 task turned hopefully into 50. I don't know. Make me feel better.
35. But it's true. It's so important. And I think this is more so focusing. Look, in his book, he talks about how you should be doing this from the start. I don't know about that.
I mean, if you have capital, fantastic.
Of course.
Fantastic. If you got a line of credit and the bank's giving you money,
amen to that.
From the get-go,
sign me up.
Go for gold.
Yeah.
I think I said it before. Not everyone has that.
Yep.
And some of these
did it when we started.
No. Some of these
10,
principles,
10, 20 grand, and that was it.
Yeah, spot on. And a lot of these principles that some of these, people preach, do they work? Yeah, 100%, without a doubt. Do they work for someone that's got no money? No.
Yeah.
They probably don't. to be very frank.
Yeah. And even when you look at people like this guy, Alex Hormozy, his wife, Layla Hormozy, who I think is absolutely fantastic from like that business operations perspective, that Sanchez lady that you spoke about, like it's all things that you're like, oh yeah, makes sense. But what separates, the average to these people is like the implementation. I watched a video of Hormozy talking about Alex Hormozy. For those listeners who don't know who he is, he's a big entrepreneur in the States. And he was talking about how he hired a new, I think it was marketing or an operations director. And he sat with him for like 4 hours doing an SOP, or he was doing something for like 4 hours, the new guy with Alex. And then Alex goes, okay, cool. So what's next? And then they went again and again. And Alex says how like that person is like, okay, I see the level that we need to be at. And it's just about doing it. And like we talk about, sitting down and doing it, but like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Dedicating the time to do it. If you can sit down and work on this stuff for 8 hours, 9 out of 10 people aren't going to do it. 99 out of 100 aren't going to sit there and write SOPs for 10 hours, twice a week, 20 hours. It's just doing it.
Yeah, and I think it sounds pretty, talking about strategy and this and that, creating plans. It sounds fantastic. It makes you feel so important. But I think the real value is in execution, is getting the simple things 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I think your business will grow so quickly if you just got the little things correct every single day to perfection and didn't focus on the girl in the red dress.
Yeah, that's it. That's another quote from Alex Hormozy where he's referring to that scene in The Matrix where there's a girl in the red dress that walks past and
it keeps dying in the Matrix,
He turns around and looks at the girl in the red dress, and then that girl in the red dress happens to be one of the agents. So the theory behind it is that shiny object syndrome. It's not always the shiniest, prettiest thing. Sometimes it can bite you in the ass. So very important in business. And we've been suckers for that in terms of that shiny object thing.
Yeah.
So,
and we've got plans that we could probably dig up.
Yeah.
Plans that had, all these fantastic strategies and quotes and this and that in them. But after 3 months, we've stopped tasking it. We've stopped going through the rocks. We haven't stayed on track
100%.
long enough for it to come to, I guess, fruition. So it comes back down to relax on the strategy, relax on, all the bells and whistles.
Yes.
Get it right.
Yep. Just make some forward progress.
That's it. Just get it right. Get the little things, 10 out of 10, and then move on to the big stuff.
Yep, I agree.
Or time block your way into it. 90% of it is done on execution, 10% done on vision, strategy, and high level.
Yep. And look, it all ties back into what we're talking about with avoiding burnout. One of the big things is just saying no. So, opportunities are going to come your way, whether it's from a new service or a new business opportunity, like whatever it is, you just need to say no sometimes. And at the start, you're going to say yes to absolutely everything. But there comes a time where you do need to start saying no. And you need to be okay with that. It could be a client or a customer that's been with you for 4 or 5 years and it's just not profitable. And like at the start, it was fantastic. They gave you opportunity and they're going to say that. They're going to say, oh, we gave you our work when you were just starting out. Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's just not working anymore. You can't be doing these small little jobs once you get to scale because your cost of everything's increased. All your cost to deliver the product or service has increased. So sometimes you have to have a hard chat. But, prepare for it and it'll be fine. I think it's important to say no. When we're starting out, you're always saying yes to everything, all the small jobs, whatever it may be. It's just super important. At the start, look, yes, you're gonna say yes to everything. But as you're growing, your operating costs are increasing. It just costs you so much more to have the doors open. You can't be charging what you were charging 3 years ago or 4 years ago when it's just you. It's hard because that person may have given you a bunch of work at the start and they gave you your start, inverted commas, and they might say that to you. But there's going to come a time where you need to be okay to say, thank you for everything, but I need to walk away from this because it's just not profitable. It stresses you out because you don't want to have a hard chat. You don't want to upset anyone. And I get that. We've all been there and everyone's been there where you don't want to have a hard chat, but sometimes you just need to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to keep doing it. You're going to have stress levels that aren't necessary. You're going to go through burnout. It's just not worth it.
And you're actually going to get probably a negative reputation on that as well.
Yes.
As a person, because all of a sudden your quality is going to drop. You're going to push it to the side, hoping that they leave themselves so you don't have to have that chat. I think there's a lot of respect in saying no.
I agree.
Saying I can't help you. I'm sorry. Thank you, but it's just not what we do anymore. Good luck. Happy to help you move somewhere else or do something else or find a different alternative. But this isn't working long term.
Exactly.
Thank you. I know I would have a lot of respect if I was treated like that as a customer. I'd say, you know what? No problem. The fact that you're even telling me this and having this conversation with me is really, really, I guess, big, because I guess we know it can be a really difficult conversation. I think you'll win some respect, keep your reputation nice and high, because that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I encourage listeners to just run through these four. I'll run through them again, these 4 talking points we had today. So leveraging people, simplify and focus, systemize for freedom, and protecting the owner. Now, I challenge everyone to try and pick one thing this week, or whenever you're listening to this episode, try and pick one thing and just try and implement it. The most basic and the easiest one, and what I think you'll have the biggest return on, is time blocking. Now, you can just do a bit of an audit, like just make a conscious effort for 1 day, 2 days, or a week, whatever you can afford to do, and just every half an hour, write down what you were doing. And that way you can try and get rid of these $10 tasks that we were talking about, if the time is right. So I would strongly suggest to do that exercise and just see where all your time is spent. Because I know I have days where I'm like, what did I even do today? Did I even do anything today? And again, burnout, you're stressed. Why didn't I do anything today? Why can't I remember what I did?
Because you're tackling 10 tasks at once.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, if you do this time audit, look, I suggest listening to Dan Martell's stuff. He's got a lot of stuff on YouTube, so maybe have a listen to his stuff. But if you can do this time audit and you go, man, he talks a lot about EAs and inboxes and managing your inbox. That executive assistant playbook, he's actually got one that's free. I'll send it to you. And I'll put it in the show notes. But yeah, like if your time spent in your inbox all day, which ours always is, well, if we do this time blocking exercise and there's 4 hours a day spent sending emails, well, maybe it's worth getting someone to manage that. So it's just about shifting that mindset and just, it really does help avoid with burnout. Like, give an example, we've been recording podcasts and I've got 5 emails. There's probably 4 of those I don't need to see, and someone else, like a executive assistant, could do. So I'd strongly suggest doing that little time blocking exercise.
Yeah, I agree. I think time blocking is probably one of the most effective things I've implemented as a business owner.
Yep.
I know Homozy's had a bit of a shout out today, but he also says, he goes a little bit beyond. He goes, you know what, if you want to get something done, set a timer for 15 or 30 minutes, however long you think it's got to get done, and turn everything else off. Turn all your notifications off. Next level, man. Put your phone away. You're not reachable. And just do it for 15 minutes, no distractions. And he goes, you'll see how quickly you can actually get a lot of these things done.
He wears earplugs, and then he wears soundproof headphones over the earplugs, chews nicotine gum, and just absolutely smashes it.
Yeah.
What a guy. That guy's
he's
next
a freak.
Level. Yeah, he's next level. Yep. So much respect for that guy.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's doing 100 million.
Yeah. Anyway, he's got heaps of content on YouTube too. So if you haven't heard of Alex Hormoz, he's got 2 books, $100 million offers and $100 million leads. And he's got so much content online, and I think he's fantastic from just everything he says, but I actually have started listening to his wife a lot more.
Yeah, Layla's good. Layla's really
power
good.
Couple.
Yeah.
And she talks a lot more about people, operations, and like leadership. I think her content's fantastic too. So if you haven't heard of them, Alex and Layla Hormozy. We also spoke about Dan Martell today as well. So give them a listen on YouTube. Awesome, Dan. Thank you. Good stuff.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for watching this episode of the podcast. If you want to hear more from us, you can get daily videos and podcasts on Rask's YouTube channel. Or if you want to enroll in a free course on investing, property, business, money, you name it, you can join over 34,000 other students and enroll in a free course on the Rask website. Simply head to www.rask.com.au and follow the prompts. Thanks for watching this Rask podcast.